Uncharted. So, Uncharted stars Tom Holland as Nathan Drake and Mark Wahlberg as his mentor Victor Sullivan. In the film, Drake is recruited by Sullivan in a race against corrupt billionaire Santiago Maconda, played by Antonio Banderas, and his hired mercenary to locate the treasure of the Magellan expedition. So when I heard this movie, when I heard that this movie was going to be made, it's a video game movie, part of me was like, oh, okay, this looks very interesting, but, you know, I'll be honest with you, I haven't played any Uncharted video games. The only Uncharted, the only, like, video, I'm more of a Tomb Raider person than Uncharted. I haven't played any Uncharted video games. And recently, we're not going to talk about TV shows. We're just going to, because Uncharted is a movie, we're going to be talking about movies. So, movies that are based on video games. I mean, if you looked at the past, they mostly, pretty much all of them failed. Warcraft was, received mixed reception. I didn't like that movie. Assassin's Creed was just so boring and dull. I love Michael Fassbender, but that movie was, like I said, boring, dull, and soulless. Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know why anyone actually liked the movie. This is a very rare occurrence. Like, a lot of people really liked Sonic the Hedgehog. But for me, I'm like the only person who didn't like the movie. I thought, people were like, oh my god, Jim Carrey was amazing as, Dr. Robotnik. And I was like, I was watching the movie and I was like, he's just playing himself. It's just Jim Carrey playing Jim Carrey. Nothing. I mean, I don't know anything. I mean, I'm not a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I have like 3 friends of mine who actually are like, fans of the game and the universe. But yeah, I'm not really much. So maybe his his personality is exactly like Jim Carrey's portrayal, but I'm not, so so yeah, so but anyway, it didn't matter what I thought, because Sonic the Hedgehog is probably actually, I think it is the only video game movie that's actually successful, and we're getting a sequel coming soon. So anyway, and then Idris Elba is voicing Knuckles. Super excited, alright? But anyway, we're not here to talk about Tomb Raider or Warcraft or, Sonic the Hedgehog. I only brought those up because those are movies that are based on video games. But, we're here to talk about Uncharted, so let's talk about Uncharted. So, I thought after walking out this movie, this is yet another movie thrown into the video game curse. Like, if movies that are based on video games, like if you thought about it, maybe you already know about it. Movies that are based on video games, they usually almost always fail. And this one is no exception. This movie opens up, don't worry, I won't spoil it, but we get to see some backstory with Nathan Drake and his brother Sam, and then it cuts to present day with Tom Holland all grown up, Nathan Drake all grown up, and here we are. And, he's doing, he's working as a bartender, from what you've seen in the trailers. He's doing, what he's doing. And then Mark Wahlberg shows up and he gets recruited and gets swept into this whole heist, trying to find out, trying to locate this treasure. And then you got Antonio Banderas, and fucking love Antonio Banderas. He's such an amazing, legendary actor. Unfortunately, his character as an antagonist, as a villain of this movie, there's no character development. Like, this movie is so focused. You know, it's one of those movies where it's so focused on the plot. Like, we have to continue, we have to progress with the plot, we got to move on quickly, that it didn't really give us time to sit down and breathe with these characters and develop them a lot more. And I get it. You know, we're on a time schedule. This movie is only 2 hours long. You can only do so much. But this is the thing about video game movies. They're so focused on on being faithful to the video games, but at the same time they're like, oh yeah, we have to make a movie out of this. This isn't a video game, this is a movie. Oh yeah, we gotta do that. So yeah. The writing is pretty awful. The writing for the plot is pretty awful. Because the reason it's awful is because there's nothing brilliant or nothing genius to it. And there's like a lack of originality. Like, I've seen all of this before in past movies and heist movies. I've seen it before. I've seen it before. This isn't the first time. And it's a pretty bad thing for me to say, but yeah, it's true. I will say this: I do love the action sequences in this. The writing isn't very original, but the action sequences were pretty amazing and pretty cool. Like, Tom Holland is jumping, doing all these parkour. It looked really awesome. And speaking of Tom Holland, he's the only person that I actually liked at the end of this movie. He's the only one. I didn't care about Mark Wahlberg. I know he's like a sidekick, I guess. But, I know he's part of the main characters, but, the main cast, but there's no development to any one of these characters except Tom Holland's Nathan Drake. That's it. I didn't really care about Mark Wahlberg, whether he died or not. And that's the thing about the villains too. I didn't give a shit about the villains because there's no development. There's no motivation. I understood, but it wasn't enough, So, yeah. But anyway, it didn't really matter. But anyway, congratulations, because this movie did make some money at the box office. So congratulations to Uncharted for making some money at the opening weekend, and all that. But yeah, that's all I have to say for Uncharted. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for taking the time to listening to my review. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see all of you lovely people really soon.